tiny vertical sticks. It wasn't even in the same solar system. Definitely different signatures. And this one lady that was trying to help us ended up being Jesse Jacobs, the whistleblower. Onto the tabulators, I witnessed multiple times stacks of 50 ballots being put through the tabulators multiple times. If they'd have been cleared, we would have no way of knowing, because the supervisors for the tabulators made sure that the metal boxes they put the finished ballots in were so far behind the tabulators and made us stand behind those boxes. We were at least 12 feet from them and wouldn't allow us to get any closer to them. About signing in and signing out, they had us sign in, not out, and said that we had plenty of us in there. Wednesday night, there were 10 of us in the room. I mean, us as Republican poll challengers, sorry. Yet, when I left, there were still people in the lobby that were being barred from coming in. Still only 10 Republican poll challengers in the room. I witnessed the military ballots being duplicated. I just thought it was strange that only Biden's name was selected, no down ballot. And I watched multiples. I don't know how many I watched, and not one of them was for Trump. I thought that was really strange, especially being military. You must know in your heart that this election was fraudulent. There's no question of it if you really are sensible. And we all pray that you do the right thing. Pay attention to Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2, and name the electors for Donald Trump. And I really appreciate you listening to me. Oh, good timing.
Perfect timing, yes. Thank you for your testimony. I know that we're planning to hear from Jesse at a later date. So thank you for that. Do any other members have a question? All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Did Maria come into the room by any chance? No, okay, well, we'll call on her later then, again. This one here says that she's unable to be here, but she's attached the affidavit, so. That brings us to Joe Farkas. Joe Farkas, followed by Terry Begas, followed by Vicki Caller. Is Vicki here? Why don't you come on up? If Joe Farkas or Terry Begas can hear me, come on this direction towards the room. After that'll be Nancy Tissio.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome to the Senate Committee, Vicki.
Thank you.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay, I started off like, my table that I had was, they didn't get very many ballots, probably 200 for the most nights, so we weren't that busy. But so one thing that I had seen was the truck that came in between 3:30 and 4, and there was golf carts, and I was sitting on one of the golf carts back there because my table wasn't doing anything, and I was just sitting there, and I seen the door open. I heard a lot of commotion about what were all these ballots, and then so I walked over and I went by the door, and I seen the white truck from the city. Looks like, you know, the city white pickup trucks, and they had the symbol on it. And there was one guy driving it, and he had a mask on, but looking at his eyes, you know, I would say Asian descent. And I know he brought in at least 3 dollyfuls of the boxes, the white boxes with the paper cardboard on them, and took them over by the platform that the people were standing on. Somebody did mention, like, where did they come from? He goes, I don't know, I'm just the driver, was his statement. And that's basically, you know, I don't know where the ballots came from, but I know it was after 3 o'clock in the morning that they came, and there was quite a few of them, and there was quite a few people that seen it come in, and they looked just like the ballot boxes that were brought to the tables, and you could see the yellow envelopes of the voter bag, you know, that were in there.
I don't want to rush you. Is that Can I ask a question, or?
Yeah, you can ask a
Okay.
question. I just,
So,
nervous.
were you watching them open the boxes after they were unloaded?
no, I did not open, no, because where they took the boxes at was over, because I was back by the back door, because that's where my table was at, and I didn't want to leave that table,
Sure.
because they kept, like, every once in a while, you get a stray ballot. So I had watched him take them over by the table, and I know I counted at least 3 trips, but I don't know if he made any more, because then I went back to
Okay,
watching my table.
all right. Does any other member have any questions? Okay, thank you so much for taking the time to come in.
All right, thank you.
Joe Farkas. Is Joe here? Terry Begas. Is Terry here? And just in case I'm mispronouncing that last name, she's from Plymouth, so Terry from Plymouth. Nancy Tissio? Is that you? All right, great. After Nancy, I have John McGrath and Donna Ross. Welcome to the Senate Committee. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm from Macomb County, and I was a ballot challenger on Monday the 2nd at TCF, and on Tuesday, the election day, I wanted to work at the polls because I heard, things about the polls. So on Tuesday...
Can I interrupt you for just a second? Can you talk a little louder for the
sure.
microphone?
I'll
That'd be
be
great.
closer.
Thank you.
So Monday I worked at TCF, and I watched them, on Monday they were taking the ballots out of the outer envelope. And it went pretty smooth, I have to admit. There were a couple of things that concerned me, and I, addressed them. One was 80% of the ballots that were at my table 93 were closed with packaging tape. And I thought that was odd. 83%, like 80% of the ballots were closed with packaging tape. That seemed different to me. Another thing that I thought was like horrible is that whoever marked the outside, the ballot number on the outside of the outer envelope, they wrote it in a light green crayon. And so you couldn't, 6 feet away, you couldn't see if that ballot number matched the ballot number that was marked on the outside of the envelope. And then, what I thought was odd was the people that were just taking the ballot out of, they were taking the ballot out of the inner sleeve, these 2 ladies, and they were turning it around so that the number would be on top. They'd take it out, they'd open it up, they'd look at it, fold it back up, put it in to make sure the number was on the top. But they had ink pens, and I thought, why did they have ink pens by where they're at? So I kind of brought a lawyer over, and we thought, why do you need an ink pen by where they were at? All their job was to turn the ballot over. So that day wasn't, that bad. Then the next day I went to Henry Ford High School. Is that all right?
You have 1 minute left.
Oh, Henry Ford High
Sorry.
School. And when I was the only Republican in the gymnasium, there were 6 precincts. And after about 2 hours, I realized they were giving out ballots to people that had an absentee ballot red question mark next to their name. And so I kind of stopped the process, and we went around and everyone was giving out ballots to people that had that question mark. And we ended up calling the war room in Lansing, because I said, no, they have to call the clerk and have the ballot spoiled before they can issue them another ballot. And they didn't agree with me, so we got that straightened out, and that was true. They had to call the clerk. Well, the clerk wasn't answering. They weren't getting any answers, so I know they were just continuing to give people ballots that had, the question mark, because no one would answer at the clerk's office. And when I went to precinct 275, the girl, I said, what are you doing when they have the question mark? She goes, I just write their names down. And she had a list of 25 people. I go, no, that's not the process. And she goes, what do you mean? And it turned out she wasn't even a poll worker. She was supposed to be a Democratic poll challenger. But when she got to the building, she didn't know what she was doing. She didn't, she wasn't trained well, because she didn't even know what her job was.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh.
But to me, people got 2 ballots.
Thank you. Senator Lucido.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Nancy. You mentioned lawyers. How many lawyers were there?
There was probably 5 Democratic lawyers.
5 Democratic lawyers. How many Republican lawyers?
There wasn't one until like 5 o'clock. I was there 6:30 in the morning. She didn't come till 5 in the evening.
At what time did you get there?
6:30,
What time did you leave?
8:30. No one could, I finally left. None of them could, balance their
Did any of the lawyers or make statements regarding this hand truck, cart, dolly that had all these ballots in it?
No, that's at the TCF. I was at a high school.
Okay.
But the one lawyer said, well, he was going to take that list of 25 and he was going to spoil the ballots. I don't know.
All right, that gets me some idea. But there was no lawyers where you were, except Democratic lawyers? How'd you know there were Democratic lawyers?
Told me. I was the only Republican in the whole room.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Thank you very much for your testimony. Did you submit things in writing?
I did, and a video.
Okay.
David.
Thank you. John McGrath. Is John here?
Yes, sir.
And after John, Donna Ross, followed by Eugene Greenstein. Welcome to the Senate Oversight Committee, Mr. McGrath. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Chairman McBroom and committee members. My name is John McGrath. I'm a registered voter here in Michigan. On Wednesday, November 4th, I learned that tens of thousands of ballots had arrived at TCF Center from Wayne County, which was after the election deadline of 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 3rd. Surprised and concerned that so many ballots appeared after the election deadline, I felt compelled to drive to TCF Center to volunteer as a nonpartisan election challenger. I witnessed ballot after ballot being counted for unlisted voters. Unlisted voters are ballots not registered in either the electronic nor the supplemental paper-based absentee voter poll book. The unlisted voters had no dates of birth, in contrast to the registered voters. The poll workers continually, and they were being instructed to do so, I don't blame them for this, but they continually entered the default birth date of January 1st, 1900 into the computer system to process these votes. Since working at the TCF Center, I've read where some leaders of the Michigan legislature indicate that they have not been made aware of any information that would change the outcome of the election. I wish that were the case. Tens of thousands of ballots arriving after the election deadline provide a minimum of tens of thousands of reasons to investigate and audit these ballots. I've also read where some leaders of the Michigan legislature indicate that Michigan's certification process should be free from threats and intimidation. The problem is that Michigan's certification has not been free from threats and intimidation. I refer this committee, I refer the people's representatives in Michigan to the affidavit submitted by Ms. Monica Palmer, chairperson of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, and by Mr. William Hartman,
1 minute.
member of the Board of Canvassers of Wayne County. And finally, if you read their affidavits, that is for Ms. Palmer and Mr. Hartman, it is clear that they did not certify Wayne County's results. And since they did not certify Wayne County's results, how can the Board of State Canvassers certify any results? It's a mess. It's a mess for the Michigan legislature. But it's time for the Michigan legislature to step up and step in, and because at this point, I don't see how you can send any electors to the Electoral College. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McGrath. Do any members have questions? Thank you for your time today, sir.
Thank you, Chairman.
You turn in written testimony?
I will.
Thank you.
You want me to bring it to you right now?
If you have it available, that is
Yes,
very
I will.
convenient.
Okay.
Next, I've been informed that Ms. Terry Begas is now here. Please come forward. After Terry, I have Donna Ross, followed by Eugene Greenstein, and I guess that's as far as I go. Thank you. Welcome to the committee.
Hi.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay. After hearing how the method of voting that we were going to be doing this year, I decided to try to make a difference and volunteer I wanted to work at Cobo initially, and so I became certified as an independent poll challenger, and we take it seriously, and we went to this one woman's house to do a mock poll challenging, a mock, election voting process stuff, and learn as much as we could. And it was helpful. And when I was there, I witnessed a video of the poll workers from Detroit, Wayne County, and it was sickening how they were training them that we were the enemy, we were to be the enemy, they were to block the votes, or not block the votes, but block the view of what was going on, to keep us 6 feet away, taught to intimidate us. It was disgusting. I'm not sure if it was on YouTube or what it was, but it was sickening. That's not what we were taught. We weren't taught anything like that. We had rules to follow. We had regulations to follow. We had to wear lanyard around our neck to identify that we were a poll challenger. I was with an independent company, so it said poll challenger. So they knew who we were. But anyhow, I got cold feet and decided, because of what I saw on the training video, I anticipated problems at Cobo, and I was apprehensive. So I chose Dearborn for 2 days. I did Monday and Tuesday at Dearborn. They asked me Tuesday night if I got a call. They needed help at Cobo Wednesday. I was beat. I had worked long hours both days, and I said no. However, Wednesday morning, I got a call to action.
1 minute.
Pardon me? Yeah. Got a call to action Wednesday morning that they needed help. They were understaffed there, and about the treatment that was going on is what I have heard said today, is what I heard what was going on, and I said, BS, I'm going. So a friend of mine and I got in the car and we came down. When we came down to Cobo, we drove down, we walked in with a lawyer and some other people. There was no security guard. We parked on the roof of Cobo, and there was no security guard when we walked in. The other gal that went with me was being trained in the hallway. I was already certified, so I wanted to go back to the car to get my phone off the seat. So I went back up to the roof where I came in the door, and there was a security guard now there. Uh-oh. Do you want me to leave you hanging?
Well, you've written it down.
Can I finish it? Can I finish my sentence?
If you can finish in 15
Okay, so there was a
seconds.
security guard there, and I had to have other people get my phone for me because I couldn't leave the building. What I didn't get was there were 3 people they said if us 3 people leave, there was a crowd of people that they couldn't get in that were volunteers. And they said, if we're leaving, there's 3 of us leaving, can 3 come in? He said, nope, and it was all supposedly due to COVID and overcrowding. Come on, we know how big TCF is. No, I don't buy that.
Thank you.
But anyhow, I was there when they boarded up the windows so we couldn't see in, and I missed going into the counting room just by a hair. They had called in some independent poll challengers, and I turned around, anyhow, they swooped them in there, and then there was nothing for hours. We went upstairs and there was nothing, no more people going in, but there was media going in, there were attorneys going in, but no poll challengers, no,
Thank you for the detailed account in your that you passed out to us?
No, that's that, because I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't in the
I said
counting.
thank you for it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I thought you were asking for
No,
more.
no,
Okay, I should know. The
Do any
buzzer went
members
off.
have a question for Terry? No? Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank
All
you
right,
for coming.
thank you.